Yeah, it's NewsHouse Sports. We talking SU Lacrosse. We got Jack Schloff, Marcus, and Botter side. Will Scott. I said his face off time. Danny Varello on all them. No one scoring like him. You know I'm talking. They Solomon, Bomberry with the celly, Damadano with the save, Donahue with the goal, and Taylor Gate away. Another block. Yeah, that's goal stock. Hope you ready for the show. You watch a goal line extended. Let's go.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Goal Line Extended. I'm your host, Will Scott, alongside Marcus Gronauer and Jack Schlafly, recapping the week in Syracuse men's and women's lacrosse. Marcus, let's start with you. A really tough week for the women's team. Going down to Notre Dame, losing 11-10 in overtime, a game where they were down 5 goals, came all the way back, but couldn't finish it in overtime, and then losing on Monday to Northwestern, 14-10. What went wrong in those two games?
Well, the thing that went wrong in both games was draw controls. You know, in the first game against Notre Dame, Syracuse lost that battle 13-10 in draw controls. And then you look at the Northwestern game, 18-8. And we've talked about it all year, how important draw controls are in getting this, especially back to your really high-powered offense. And B, these games, I mean, Notre Dame game was a 1-goal game. If you get these possessions, it's the difference in the game. And even the Northwestern game was a 4-goal game as well.
You look at the week ahead for Syracuse women's lacrosse, Princeton on Thursday, and then you have another game on Saturday against Duke. That is 4 games in a week. I mean, we normally don't see more than 2 games in a week at most for a men's or women's lacrosse team. That's a tough stretch.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard enough to play that many games consecutively in that short period of time, but to have consistent play out of your team is another thing, and that's really hard, especially they're not going to have their legs under them a lot of the time, and so they're going to have to get a lot of consistency, especially with one more road game coming up.
The good news for the Syracuse women's lax team, though, they have Nicole Levy, 14 goals in her last 4 games. She's really become the dominant player this season for the team.
Yeah, and she's got 2 games with back-to-back, both games that they just played, back-to-back 4-goal games, so she's been great as of late. But what the Syracuse team needs is Emily Harris-Chuck to get back going again. You know, she's been the star all year. Riley Donahue last year was a star, but this year so far it's been Emily Harris-Chuck. And if you can get Emily Harris-Chuck going with Nicole Levy already on a hot streak right now, I think that'll put you back in the win column, and especially for postseason play as well.
Going to the men's team now, Jack, it's crazy to think that this team, a team that had a terrible loss to Albany, a terrible loss to Johns Hopkins, is in first place in the Atlantic Coast Conference because they just went down to Duke and got a huge win against the number 3 Blue Devils.
Well, look, yeah, like you said, the team is 4-3, but they're 10th in the NCAA rankings right now, and that's because the NCAA knows how tough the ACC is and how tough this schedule has been. Syracuse has played, at least for me,
7 straight ranked teams during the stretch.
The toughest schedule out of anyone in the country. And obviously, as you said, they play teams like Albany, who's the outright unanimous number 1 team right now. And that was a tough game, but they've grown a lot. And we've seen a lot of growth at the face-off X for Danny Varello and on the attack. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, this team is starting to shape up. They've got a tough road ahead of them as well. So it's not going to get any easier, but that's what you get when you play in the ACC.
Let's talk about the attack, like you just mentioned, Jamie Trimboli and Brendan Bomberry. Trimboli's got the clutch gene, second straight year that he scored the game winner against Duke. Blue Devil fans don't like Jamie Trimboli, but we do for sure. Brendan Bomberry, another 4-goal game for him. After not scoring in the Rutgers and UVA game, he scored 7 goals in the past 2 games. It looks like he's back.
It's such a good sign for Syracuse fans because we saw in the Rutgers game, we won the face-off battle. You know, Danny Varello had a great game against Rutgers, and we still lost that game. And obviously, you've got to look at other things like turnovers. The turnover battle, Syracuse won against Duke, which was huge because they did lose the face-off battle, So, you know, it's good to see the attack getting a little bit more efficient and being smarter with their shots. You know, they lost the shot battle, but they had more shots on goal, which is very important. You know, obviously, you've got to get shots on goal, test the goalie as much as possible, and that's how you have an efficient game on the attack side.
What does this team have to do, Jack, to be more consistent? Because we've seen them beat top 5 teams on the road, UVA and Duke, but we've seen them get destroyed by top 10 teams at home, Johns Hopkins and Albany. What does the team have to do to be more consistent, get bigger wins at home specifically?
Well, the obvious thing to point out is just at the face-off X. I mean, we've seen it all year, and it's the same on the women's side. you've got to win the faceoffs. It's more possessions, it's more opportunities. But as I said too, this attack has gotten a lot more efficient, and it's great to see for Syracuse fans. Just because you get more efficient, you don't need to win the faceoff battle by quite as much. So you do that, and you go play teams like Notre Dame, North Carolina, teams that are coming up on the schedule that are not going to be easy at all. If you're getting more efficient on the attack side and win a couple more faceoffs, you'll be sitting pretty.
Yeah, big week ahead for both teams. Obviously, we have the women's lax team. Princeton on Thursday, and then Duke on Saturday, and then the men's lax team, of course, Notre Dame, number 7 in the nation, coming to town. We'll definitely recap all of the action on the next week of Goal Line Extended. We'll see you then. Thank you for tuning in.